So we're going to walk through setting up a DataBlend connector in Popdock. And the first thing you're going to do is go to the connector section, either from right here in the Start tab or the main menu. And then you're just going to add a new connector. And you can either scroll or search for DataBlend. And when you do that, you do just need to enter your client ID and secret that you get from your DataBlend profile into here. You will also choose between either an EU credential or a US-based credential. You will also just need to enter the group UID, which you get from DataBlend in the URL. Just copy and paste that into the group section here, and then you can connect. And then you just need to wait for the connector to install. So give that just a couple of minutes. Once that has installed, you will see it as a new connector here. This is the one I just installed. And you can rename it if you'd like to. And then from here, you will see a list of all your generic lists that you can pull from. And you can view any of these right from here. And you can either add fields or edit fields right from here. This one already has all of its fields already added. You can add any actions if you'd like to. And then you can preview the list right from here. And then any columns that you want to also view in this list will be in the side menu. You just need to highlight the ones you want, and then you can add those selected columns to the view. Just going back to the main connector page, if there are any lists that you don't see in this list, you can add them in the top right. So things such as collectors that you want to pull, specific ones, or specific queries that you want to pull, you can just choose from the list of everything that you have available in that group. So here's a test collector I might want to add. I can just select that. You can see it's adding the list to everything here, and it should have just added. And there's my test collector. And it'll default with all of the fields here. And then you can just preview what's available in this collector. And again, you can add any fields or filters to this view. Specific queries are also available if you want to search for those. Here's your query data. This is going to be a list of any queries you have available in the group, and then you can also choose any of these as a list as well. Same thing, you can just view any fields, add any if there are any to be added, and then preview what this list brings back. Once the connector has been set up, now we're going to head over to the MCP section. We're going to add this connector into an MCP. Now, if you don't already have an MCP server set up, you can add one here. You can import one. There is a DataBlend template MCP that you can just import. It's going to have a lot of pre-built tools in there. It's going to look exactly or very similar to this one, just entitled DataBlend here that we'll take a look at. And within MCP, you're going to see the tools section. Now, each one of these tools allows you to make some sort of action on your connector. So you can see we have things like query update, get workflow collectors, create Sage Intacct collector. Any specific task like that will need to be created as a tool. A lot of these are pre-built and they just need to be activated. But if you want to create your own tool, in the top right, if you click add, there is the main ones that you'll probably be using for DataBlend are either getting data or running an action. So getting a data will be pulling data from something like a collector or a query and bringing that data into Popdock, or running an action will be something like kicking off a workflow or sending data to a stream or something like that within DataBlend. So if we just click on get data real quick, with tools, you do just need to give the tool a name. We'll just call this something generic like get data, And you do need a description. This does help with the AI to know what you're actually doing. This is not the best. Get data is very generic, so it's not the best thing for an AI, but we're just showing an example here. So then your connector will be the connector that you just set up. So I just set up the one DataBlend new group. I'm going to select that one. Then within group, this is more or less going to mimic the side menu in DataBlend. So like connect and transform will have all of your collectors and queries and data targets and things like that. Let's say we want to pull from a query list. You can then set your max number of records here that you by default want to pull back. If you want to pull from a specific query or a specific collector that you brought in before, for queries, you can click on query data and you can see it automatically defaults to my DQ testing query because that's the only one I manually brought in. So that'll pull in that specific query. And then collectors, if you click on collector data, here's that test collector that I added as well. So that's how you would add a new tool. And then let's go back to the query and we'll pull in the query data one and just click add. And what you need to do from within here is add the fields that you want to bring back. Now you can add these as parameters or you can just simply add them as static fields. If you go to the response section, you can click add field here, and here's the list of the only 2 fields we have available. We'll just select them one by one, the first one being balance, and the second one being location. And then you can just test that. So if you run this tool, you can see here's those 2 columns and the 2 values of data I get. It's a very small data set, so it's not bringing a whole lot back. And then if for whatever reason you wanted to parameterize these or restrict anything, restrictions are going to act like a filter. A parameter is going to act like something that you can obviously change when you make your calls. You can create those as well. The last thing you need to do in order for this to be activated in the AI is changing the status from inactive to active. And then when you go into Claude or whichever AI agent you're using, I'm first just going to update my tool list within my connector, which should show the new tool I just created. You can see read-only tools went from 10 to 11, so my new one is there. Now I can say, show me get data, and we'll see if it pulls in that tool I just created. There we go. Claude wants to use get data from DB MCP. I'm just going to always allow this going forward. And here we go. Here's what get data returned. This is what we expected. So everything worked from start to finish. Obviously, you can get a lot more creative in what you're bringing in with tools. You can build prompts around multiple tools to do a set of tasks, things like that. But this should get you up and running, setting up DataBlend with Popdock and Popdock AI.